The personality. I know your anger. I know your dreams. Good evening, everyone. Off the ropes, episode 42. We're going to talk a little bit WWE Survivor Series, and Kyle, it feels a little empty in here. I don't know if it's a pattern going on, but it seems like it's just always ends up being me and you for some reason. I guess I don't know if it's our personality, our cult of personality is running folks off, or our knowledge is intimidating folks. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but we're running people off. Maybe I don't know what it is. I don't have any answers, but we're here and we got wrestling to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. I did start watching Raw a little bit earlier, so I did see
It was a very good episode.
the Punk and Rollins segment to start the show, so I did get to see that. So
That wasn't even the best segment.
I know, but it was great. I mean that the back and forth was already had. I know you told me earlier that it was going to be good, and it was. So far, I'm all in on it. So, but we got a Survivor Series War Games to talk about, and what's your overall thinking of this card? You know, what do you think about it overall in the context of the whole pay-per-view?
It was an all right show. I mean, it wasn't the best. They didn't put their best foot forward, did WWE, but I don't think it was an all out terrible show. I mean, there was things I didn't like about it, which we'll talk about right off the bat with the women's match, and then the decision to give the title to Shinsuke Nakamura after he's been off television for months. But yeah,
I did get that
but
one right, by the way.
but the show match quality wise ended well. I didn't like the ending because it felt very anticlimactic. Nothing happened when you were expecting something to happen, but maybe that's on us as viewers because they didn't give us, other than us wanting something to happen, WWE didn't really give us any reason for anything else to happen. So maybe it's our own fault that we expected something and but they sure did linger at the end of that match to make it seem like they were going to have something
Oh,
happen.
it was pretty bad. I was ticked when I ended up. To be honest, I was very disappointed there. All right, so let's go down through this card. The women's match opened. They book in with the War Games matches, kind of what we kind of thought it would be. And so got off the. And I thought this was interesting, something that we don't normally see. The face team had the advantage, and how they countered that is they put Nia Jax first because she is the all powerful Nia Jax, and so you need to have two people on the other team to counter her. So that was creative, I guess, that they did that because I was wondering how that was going to go. But we did get Liv and Rhea at the end, as we kind of thought. My main complaint, and I told you this yesterday, let's put the weapons in the ring or put the weapons somewhere. Why we spend 2 or 3 minutes of the time ticking off digging for weapons under the ring? I mean, come on, man. It's just a way to stall. Like, let's hang them on the. Is it what match is it where they hang the weapons on the cage? Let's just hang them up in
Isn't that a TNA match?
something. I don't know. Let's put them in the ring. Let's put them somewhere else. We can get to them. I don't like the wasting time. Io Sky looked like an idiot because she was searching for her weapon for about 5 minutes because she had to look every single place under the ring. I mean, come on. Or let's make it a little bit easier access. Put them all right there by the entrance. They look under there, they grab them, they go in. There's no need to be circling the ring trying to find your weapon. I mean, we all know this is scripted. I mean, they could have scripted a little bit better than this. Come on now. I mean,
that bothered me a lot. Is the first couple 3 women did it, and I was like, okay, surely they're not going to do this the entire time. And then every single woman did it. I'm like, dude, come on, like this is not necessary. Like if you wanted to do that, don't have every single woman do it. Do like 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 out of the 10, but don't have every single woman that came. The only 2 that didn't were the 2 that started the match, and I don't like that Nia started the match. I get what you're saying about to counteract it, and that makes sense, but it's a terrible booking decision because those chair shots, and I'm using that lightly because that's how the chair shots were, very light. Um, Nia's a big girl. You don't want her in there for 40, 45 minutes. And so you put her in there at the very first. She's got to go the entire time.
Usually
So,
they put two wrestlers that can go in the ring in
right.
first.
And Nia's not one of those. So that
Bailey was the good one to put in first, but maybe put Candice LeRae in there, somebody that
exactly somebody that can go. And I didn't like that booking decision. I thought it was silly. And then her doing the pillow fight with the chair, and then at the end of it, holding the chair above her head and shaking it like she was King Kong was just comical. I'm like, you barely. But they did the typical, Io Sky did her thing off the top. But if I'm being honest, it felt just like another.
yeah.
Like it's almost because this match was unnecessary. Like the men's War Games match was necessary because of the Bloodline feud and all that. It had story going into it. This had nothing outside of Liv and Rhea, and it kind of felt that way throughout the match. Like nothing, it felt like they just did it because they had to do it, and it didn't feel there was no passion there. There was no story there. I thought we were going to get a cash in. That was going to be a little intriguing, but that
That would
got turned away.
that would have been cool. I think that would have made my thoughts on this match a little bit different if that would have
Yeah.
happened. I mean, because she had both of them down. It was a great opportunity. They're both in the ring. Now, the question was, if she cashes in right there, how does that affect the War Games match? Does the winner of the War Games match win the title? Like, because when you go down and there's a match underway, it has happened a few times where the Money in the Bank person add themselves into the match, like as a
Right.
make it a triple threat or make whatever, and they cash
Right.
in. Can they stop the War Games match, have a new match real quick, and then I don't know. That would have been I would have
I think it just would have applied to whoever she was pinning. I
yeah.
mean, I think it would have made her the champion, and then I don't think she could have. There would have been no way she could have lost it again in that same
That would have
match.
been interesting though if she cashes in and now the winner of the War Games that gets the pin is the champ. That could have been some interesting.
So, but that theory implies that whoever would have pinned Liv or Nia in War Games to win War Games. So Rhea pinned Liv, right?
Rhea
So
could have
should
taken
Rhea be the champion then?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. That would have been hard booking because I don't know how you would. I thought it would be a cool idea, but then I was thinking, I was like, how would you do that? Because it's in the middle of a match. Can you start a match within a match? I don't know.
I don't think you're. Well, you're starting a match, but they couldn't start it as a rematch. Like that match, the War Game match would still be going on. So you starting that match by cashing in inside the other match is just strictly to
Yeah,
get that title. So then once you get the title, that match is over. That's over and done. That's your title now,
yeah,
at least for the rest of that night. But
yeah.
yeah, we didn't get anything exciting like that. Raquel stopped it, and
Yeah.
so it was underwhelming. I guess that's the best word for it. It was just
Hey,
underwhelming.
spot of the night though. Io Sky off the top rope with a trash can over her.
We saw that last year.
I know, but I mean, for this match though, that was pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, I guess like athletically, yes, that's a great feat. But it's like blood in AEW. Like you're almost getting desensitized to that spot because going into the War Games match, like that's happening
but
somehow.
Kyle, the trash can was painted and it looked cool.
You're right. I totally forgot that it was painted. That changes
Hey,
everything. You're right.
I thought that was a cool thing. What about the glow sticks? Instead of a kendo stick, did you see that
Oh
they had
yeah.
it painted for Naomi? That was pretty creative to me. I don't know if they ever actually referred it to. That's the first thing I thought of. Hey, it's glow sticks. She's
They I didn't hear them refer to it that way, but that
I don't
that
know if they
makes sense.
did, but that's what I thought it was because I mean it looked like a bunch of glow sticks taped together, right?
Yeah,
So
it did.
I don't know. That
Yeah,
was
it
I
was
mean
just an underwhelming match though.
yeah, I think the effort in the ring and the spots they did, it was the women was fantastic. I think it was an average match to me because we didn't have any story with it of why they're together, and we didn't have it was really just a match to get Liv and Rhea back in the ring together. And with Rhea getting the pin now, that's going to set up probably another match with them one-on-one here, and we'll see where they go with it. But yeah, I thought it was just average. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't like I was bored, but it,
well, and we're not getting Rhea next because we still have Io Sky that won that Fatal 4-Way or whatever to have her championship. So it's got to be Io and
Rumble.
Liv. Well, I mean,
You still got Saturday Night Main
yeah,
Event. They're booking that kind of like a PLE. I mean, it's going to be on.
which they should.
I mean, so because there's no pay-per-view in December, I guess. That is going to be their event in December. I think the Rumble.
I guess you would have to do Io and Liv at Saturday night's main event, and then what? Then actually, isn't there? They said there's another Saturday night main event in January. I think
There is.
I think. Let me double check.
I didn't hear about that. Doesn't mean that that's not happening. I did have. I try to keep my little website up that's got all the.
Yeah. So it's going to be in December and then January 25th.
So
December 14th and January 25th, which is weird because that's a week before Rumble.
So it's not special anymore. Then we're already making it not special. I thought it was going to be this special event. Maybe it was going to be a cool PLE. They got the old theme. I like it. And now we're going to have it every month.
No, I don't think it's that. I think they're doing it simply because of what you just said. There are no PLEs in December or January. So why not have Saturday Night Main Event in those months that is like a pseudo pay-per-view or PLE? And so it's not going to have it I don't think we're getting Saturday Night Main Events and PLEs in the same month. I think they're fillers for non-PLE months.
I know. I like them to be special like that. They could have made something else.
Them doing it under a month apart is a little crazy.
Yeah. So let's see what I've got here. You've got I do have a Saturday Night Main Event. It's in New York. That is the 14th. You said it was the
January 25th.
See, I don't see that on the calendar I have. This has got all the PLEs that's of record. Now, that may have been something newly released that I haven't seen. But the Rumble's February 1st. So it's the very beginning of.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So you have nothing right now. So that may be what they do then. I don't know. This one is called Saturday Night Main Event 37 is the one in December. So I guess that's the 37th one, I guess.
This one is Saturday Night Main Event. Well, I'm trying to see if it doesn't say. Oh, yeah. So it says Saturday Night Main Event Primetime Special will air live on Saturday, January 25th on NBC. It'll be held from the Frost Bank Center in San Antonio. And then it says it's the second quarterly primetime special to air on NBC, which kicked off September. The first Saturday Night Main Event takes place December 14th at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island.
Okay.
So this is for this year. So, yeah, they got one coming to San Antonio in January.
Okay.
Which it's a week before the Rumble, though, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, I guess you could do.
People show up and say they're in the Rumble, like, hey, I'm here. I'm entering the Rumble.
Well, you could do Io and Liv at this main event, and then at the January main event, do Rhea and Liv. Rhea can win her title back. Liv can enter the Rumble the following week to try and go get her title back. So
that's true.
They'll figure it out.
Maybe they'll figure it out. Hopefully.
It's WWE. I trust Triple H.
Okay. All right. Some memorable moments in this match. It was Naomi's birthday. But that's something that I
Naomi's birthday.
Saw, and then you had I think a lot of people some things that we're seeing, like we talked about, just the lack of being able to find their weapons were things that people saw. I mean, we weren't the only ones that saw that. I mean, the Rhea Ripley mask was pretty cool, but then she took it off, and it was like, oh goodness.
So is she healed now?
I guess so. Like, I mean,
Well, you gotta watch Raw. You gotta watch Raw.
okay, all right. Well, I'll watch that first before I think about that. All right, next match. The King of Strong Style is back. Shinsuke Nakamura, or Chin Stain, as my son would say. Nakamura is back. And I know that you didn't agree with this, Kyle, but I mean, they've been building Nakamura. Like, I feel like you had to do something with him. Like, you're going to bring him back as this big bad heel, and he just comes out and just jobs out to LA Knight. I mean, I think LA Knight's had this title long enough. I think he enters the Rumble. Like, he's going to try to go after something else. His feuds haven't been very good. I like LA Knight. I love his character, but lately it's just been with him. The Logan Paul feud was great, and I think since then it's just kind of nothing's really been there. I mean, you got Carmelo Hayes, which I like him, no pun intended. But they haven't done anything with him. You have Andrade looming around, and you got Santos Escobar, all these guys, and none of them, they haven't pushed any of them. They just kind of put them in random matches. I'm hoping that this helps LA Knight and we get him focused on something else and maybe some good feuds. But I mean, I hope they do something with Nakamura. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, Triple H, maybe he's going to be able to give Nakamura a good run here. We'll see. I like him in the ring. I like Shinsuke Nakamura. He's fabulous in the ring. His character is the problem. I wish if they give him a mouthpiece, maybe that would help him. I don't know, but I'm interested to see what they do with him. And I hope they are able to get LA Knight some matches that I care about. I just haven't cared here recently.
Well, I did some research while you were talking, Bret.
Okay.
When was the last time before his match last week with Andrade? When was the last time that Shinsuke Nakamura had a match on television?
It's been a while. I'd say at least 6 months ago.
It was April 22nd on a Monday Night Raw against Sheamus. My point with that is they did this before. That's when they brought him back last time. That they did this same song and dance before. They brought him back as a vicious heel. He was a bad guy. He faced Cody Rhodes, lost. They brought him back. He's a vicious guy. He's a bad heel. He faces somebody else, he loses. Like, he's been booked as a loser. And so, like, they did the same thing. Like,
but they changed his theme music, Kyle. He's got a more vicious sounding theme music now, and he's got more and more evil. I don't know. I'm just trying to sell it on.
All I'm saying is you've built LA Knight, you've put equity in, built him up. He is one of your biggest baby faces right now. And
maybe.
you haven't done much with him yet in his title run. So you're going to give the title to somebody that the fans don't care about because he's been off TV forever. They've forgotten about Shinsuke. And he's back now, and he had one match when he came back, and now he's a champion. What is he, Mercedes Moné? Like, what's going on here? Like, that makes no sense. Like, he didn't have to fight for it, battle, and it was relatively clean. Like, it wasn't like it was a tomfoolery with it or anything. Like, it was, I don't know. I don't like the decision. I trust Triple H, but I'm over Shinsuke. I don't care about Shinsuke. I don't care if he's on TV. I don't think he's going to do anything with United. If they couldn't do anything with it with LA Knight, they dang sure ain't doing anything with it with Shinsuke. Who do you want to see feud with Shinsuke?
Whoop that trick. Whoop
Okay,
that
he's
trick.
not on the main roster, so
Maybe,
who do you want to see?
maybe he come. I think there's some call ups coming. KO. I don't know when. I think there's some coming. I don't know.
Okay, so who's Shinsuke's first feud with?
He's on SmackDown. Please don't tell me it's going to be. I have this weird feeling it's going to be more of those same guys. I don't. I don't know. I
You
don't
think it'll
know.
be Andrade or
Here's
Carmelo
the
or
deal.
somebody like
Like,
that?
if I would have been more okay with LA Knight keeping the belt if they had done something with him. He's kind of fizzled out. Like when he's fighting guys that I don't care about every week, like his same old stick is getting old. I think they turn him heel. I think LA Knight's going to turn heel and they're going to do the Rock heel with him. And then he's going to, and he's going to take off with that. And then maybe they return him back face and do that with. I don't know. I think that they need to do something with him. I think he'd be a really, really good heel. He was a heel at one point. You know, it's been a long time. But I think
Well, but I mean,
he's kind of fizzled out a little bit. Like people, because I think they're like me. They don't put him in any matches that matter.
well, I care more about him than I do Shinsuke. I'd rather see LA Knight on my TV than Shinsuke
But
Nakamura.
Shinsuke's a heel.
Yeah, but I don't care about it.
Do you
Like,
care? Do you care about Dominic Mysterio?
no.
Well, he's the biggest heel, probably one of the biggest heels in wrestling right now.
Right, but I could at least I'm interested in stories that he's in, but that's the thing. Shinsuke, I don't see there any way that I'm going to be interested in what Shinsuke's doing. Like I don't. I'm
We got
just
to give
over
it a chance.
Shinsuke.
We don't know. Maybe he's going to
Well,
have a good feud here. I'm hoping. I'm just hoping here. You
well,
know,
you can have your hope. I'll be now. Let's throw a curveball at this. Let's throw a curveball at this. Maybe there's a reason LA Knight had to give up this U.S. championship. Maybe they're setting him up for a Royal Rumble win.
well, that's why I said he's going to enter the Rumble.
Maybe they can. Maybe they're setting him up for a major championship, not a
Possibly,
U.S. championship.
or maybe they're going to send him away for a little bit. Then he comes back full blown heel, just
Well, I mean,
whooping
but he's a
people.
tweener. Like
But
he's kind of heel now anyway. Like he does
yeah,
heel stuff.
but he's gotten as it's gone on, he's gotten a little more heelish. Just it seems like.
Yeah, but he's still getting the pop and everything. Like I think he's like an MJF type. Like people are going to cheer him. He could be a big heel and be a big prick, but people are still going to cheer him because it's LA Knight.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't know if you can really turn LA Knight heel because he's still going to get cheered
yeah, I don't know.
unless he turns on like Cody Rhodes or somebody.
Hey,
It's
that's a good feud. You know.
good heat, brother.
Uh-huh. But I think the match was fine. I like both of them in the ring, so the match work was fine. They did a good I say they did a good job with the story here. There was a few there. Nakamura came out, kept interfering, kept, you know, attacking LA Knight. So they did have some kind of story. Whether you liked it or not, Kyle, I know you may not have, but it was the best feud LA Knight's been in several different feuds. I will say, like at least there was something there, right? I mean, I didn't like the feuds he's had over the last several months, so I'm going to give them a chance with this. Um, I'm hoping that they do right and do something good with Shinsuke Nakamura because he's too good in the ring for me not to do something with. Whether it's give him honestly, I've said it a few times, but give him a mouthpiece. That's part of it. His English isn't the greatest. He just comes out and speaks in Japanese. I guess that gets him cheap heat, but maybe you get him a manager or somebody that can. Maybe you get him a couple of followers, or you give him a little group that follows him, and make you even hate him more. I don't know, but
I feel like Diggs. I feel like I'm Diggs tonight. So you just said that story was Shinsuke coming out for a couple of weeks and interfering in matches, and that's story enough for you to say that was a good story in the match.
better. I said better than what they've been booking. with LA
I
Knight.
mean,
LA Knight.
at least
Tell me a good story that LA Knight's had in the last 2 or 3 months.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this stuff with Melo and with Andrade. I enjoyed that. I like Melo. I like
I
Andrade.
do
I
too,
like
but
all that.
I don't need to see him wrestle 18 times to then
But
get to game
but
7 and then LA Knight comes out and ruins it.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that part of it. But everything they did up to that was great. But my thing is, at least they did. There was weeks of storytelling that led into that. You're talking about a couple of run-ins and a couple of interferences in some shows, and I get a world championship match, and then I win the championship over a guy that is one of the top guys in the company, and I've been off TV since April. Like it just doesn't
Trying to give
makes no sense.
Shinsuke a little rub there, maybe.
Why now? Why
I don't
didn't you
know.
do it the last time when you brought him back?
I don't
Like I
know.
don't.
Same Cody Rhodes. Why they put him as Stardust and put him down there and make him do all that stuff, and then they
That
came
was
back
Vince
and now
McMahon.
I
That's
know.
different.
I'm just saying. I mean, it happens all the time. You know, you have somebody and you ruin them, but then finally, maybe I'm just hoping, Kyle. I'm hoping
Well,
for our sake that Shinsuke Nakamura will get a good run this time with this title. Maybe I'm just hoping.
you can have Shinsuke. You can have Shinsuke.
I didn't say it was my favorite. I just want something different with that title. Like I feel like that LA Knight was just in limbo carrying out the title every week and it didn't matter.
Well, then I think you change the creative around LA Knight. I don't think you take the title off. I don't think taking the title off LA Knight and putting it on a guy that hadn't been there is going to make it any better.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I guess that's why we do this, got our opinions. I mean, we'll see what happens with him. I hope they do something with him. I really do. Not to say that I think you could be right. Totally. I'm just trying to give another spin to it here. Like I'm hoping that we do something better. You can always hope. Triple threat match.
Something to dream about.
Yeah, triple threat match is up next. Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. This match was good. I enjoyed this match. Breaker, of course, was retained. We kind of figured that. I don't know. There was a lot of weird things in this match, but I think what I liked is they used Sheamus to kind of further this feud with Breaker and Kaiser. I think that's where it's going. I like Ludwig Kaiser. I think eventually he's going to turn on Gunther at some point, and they'll get that feud down the line. But man, Braun Breaker is a bad A. The name it fits him very well. I liked it. There was a lot of things that happened here. We had Sheamus had his shillelagh with him, and he was able to use that. Which this still is weird to me. Like, why is it that it's a triple threat match, Kyle, and there's no rules? Like, I mean, it's just
you
automatically.
Don't like that?
Well, I just don't like what is the difference in having 3 people versus 2, and why does it have to be no?
It's non-traditional. Anything outside of just 2 people in the ring is non-traditional. So
I know. I just think, it's like an automatic. There's going to be interference. Yeah. There's going to be people cheating, and so it takes the integrity down of the match. I feel like they do that all the time anyway. But
yeah, I mean, I think they just do it because they have to. They got. I mean, yeah. I don't know where I was going with it.
Okay.
Anyway,
a spot in this match that I liked. Breaker, he leapt off the apron and took both guys, clotheslined them over the announce table. That was a cool spot. It just shows how athletic he is. Like, I think he's probably more athletic than his uncle or his dad. I think he's so athletic, man.
Well, he could have been a football player.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
But I want to see Kaiser and Breaker go one-on-one down the line. I feel like that's where it's going. And I think Braun, I don't know how long do you think he continues to keep this title, or do we see him maybe try to elevate himself and go up for one of the main titles soon?
I would like to see I would like to see him hold on to this title and Sheamus take it off of him at WrestleMania. I want to see Sheamus get a WrestleMania moment. That's the only title he hadn't won before, the Intercontinental Championship. Like, that would be a dream scenario for Sheamus to take it off Braun at WrestleMania. I I assume Braun holds on to it up to WrestleMania. Like, I don't see any reason for him to lose it before then. But you're gonna have to do something to get one of these guys out of this feud. Like, these three, Sheamus, Ludwig, and Braun, like, it's still not settled. Even though
Right.
Braun won, it's still not over. So somebody's gonna have to get involved, whether it's Pete Dunne that wants to get involved with, although he's got his own junk going on with R-Truth. But if Pete Dunne wants to get involved with
You mean
Sheamus,
Butch or Pete Dunne, whatever it is.
both of them. If both of them want to get involved with Sheamus, but I mean, we've kind of seen that run its course. I don't know. I'm with you. I'm down to see a Ludwig Kaiser and Braun Breaker feud, but you got to do something to get Sheamus out of it, because Sheamus isn't going their way. Like, Sheamus isn't going anywhere. He's going to be hanging around. We're going to have triple threats and interferences the whole time. Like, I want to see a one-on-one between Kaiser and Breaker.
Maybe Kaiser takes Sheamus out, and he's out for a while, and then he returns.
We've had that angle already.
Like, really takes him out, and then he doesn't return until right before Mania, and then I don't know. Maybe Kaiser.
Then he comes back right to Kaiser, and we're in the same cycle.
Maybe Kaiser. No, maybe Kaiser. In the meantime, maybe Kaiser takes the belt off of Breaker, and then he keeps it up to Mania, and then we have a returning Sheamus
that goes after Kaiser
and gets his WrestleMania moment right there.
But is Sheamus and Kaiser a WrestleMania match to you?
If there's that much heat.
But is it that much heat? Because it's the same angle they just did.
Well, but it's just them two. He gets his WrestleMania. That's a big moment. Like, it's the one title he hasn't won. And he goes.
I know.
He defeats the evil Kaiser, who took him out, trying to keep him away from finishing his story, Kyle. He's going to finish his story at WrestleMania.
I mean, I get it. I think that you got to do something different. Like, we just had Ludwig Kaiser take out Sheamus, and Sheamus came back and got injected in this feud. So we have Kaiser take out Sheamus again, just for Sheamus to come back and then get his revenge again on, like, I don't know, man. I think Braun, you can't build Braun like you have as a badass and all this. You can't build him as that, and then to have him lose to a little snarky Ludwig Kaiser. Like, Kaiser, to me, is still, he hasn't proven, he's still a henchman to Gunther. Like, he hasn't proven himself on the solo stage. I like Kaiser a lot. I think he's great, but he hasn't done it enough on his own to prove to me that he can hold the Intercontinental Championship. So would it be as big of a deal if Sheamus took it off Kaiser at Mania, or would it be a bigger deal if he took it off Braun Breaker, who's held on to it for a little bit and won some matches defending that title?
But he just lost the title to Jey Uso a few weeks ago. He lost it and he won it back.
Yeah. Well,
and then what about Jey Uso? Is he going to want to get that title back? I mean, he's going to finish up at some point with this other. He's going to want to come back in there and get his title back.
Yeah, but he's going to be tied up in bloodline business till after Mania. I don't think he's going to even be worried about that title.
Yeah, he is main event Jey, so he's probably going to win it back at some point.
It's in his name. He's got to.
I do like that they've kind of kept his entrance separate and some of that stuff, like, and not just throw him back in with all the, like, it's pretty. And he's even coming out last. Like,
yeah, past Roman. That surprised me. That was one thing that surprised me on Saturday.
Is there any doubt that that's a feud going to be down the pipeline?
No, like, they're definitely going to revisit
Roman gets jealous of Jey getting the big pop and getting to come out last. And
they'll revisit that for sure.
We talked a little bit about Gunther, but we had Gunther and Damian Priest. And Kyle, I believe there was something I said. What was going to happen in this match?
You did. You talked about Finn Balor. I remember it now.
Yeah. Finn Balor, he right when he least expected it, which he should have expected it, because, That's how it is.
Well,
Uh,
they faked out the crowd. They faked out the crowd because the crowd started chanting a "You effed up" chant to Damien because they thought he slipped off the top rope. Little did they know he was just setting up for a spot with Finn. So
uh-huh.
they got the crowd.
Coup de grace out of nowhere, and that was it for Priest. I mean, it's got to go Balor Priest again. I mean, right? I mean, are we? I feel like we've done this before. We've done this dance a few times. The whole Judgment Day, you know.
Well, this is the problem with these factions like this. You just rotate through the same people over and over and over and over. Like I don't know where they go from here. Like yes, you got to run it back between Priest and Damien, or between Priest and Gunther, but you got to get Priest and Finn out of the way now.
I have a theory, Kyle. I have a
Oh, please.
BS theory.
Okay.
So here's where I think it's going. I think we get this match, and I think Finn's Judgment Day people try to come out and help, and they end up costing him the match with Priest. I think I think Judgment Day's splitting. I think Finn's getting a little big for his britches lately. He's been bossing people around. He's been doing this and that. I think at some point Finn and Liv break off together, and he turns on Dom, and because they're together in real life, right? So I think they split off at some point, and then they are, and then so then you have a feud within the Judgment Day there. I don't know. I think that's a very, very good possibility. I just feel like the way that how Damien was there at the end when he was, and everybody looked at him funny. He was trying to be bossy, and it was all going to be it was supposed to be nobody was the leader and all this, and he started doing that. Finn is starting to do that lately with Judgment Day.
Yeah, but I don't think him and Liv are going to break off because he's going after Dom, who is Liv's boy toy. So I don't think she's going to want to break off with him when he's going after her daddy Dom.
Well, or is it? Or has Finn been pulling the cards the whole time? Remember the hotel key?
Well, that may have been a real life situation that bled on into the TV show. I don't think
Maybe, but
but
I don't know.
I'm with you, but I'm kind of sick of it. I'm kind of sick of it. Like they did this story with Edge. They excommunicated Edge that way. They got rid of Damien and Rhea this way. Now we're gonna get rid. Like, how many is Dom gonna be leading this thing next? It ain't gonna be Carlito. Is it gonna be JD McNuggets? Like, who's gonna be leading this? Who's gonna be leading this little Judgment Day group? Or if there is no leader, but you can see the tension, you can see the fractions. I like that theory. I'll tweak it a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think it's Finn and Liv. I think Finn gets kicked out because they get tired of him being bossy and trying to be a boss. So I think Finn is on his own, and that's when Damien attacks when Finn has no backup, and that's when Damien gets his win over Finn and gets Finn out of the way.
Okay. All right. I like that. But yeah, this match was fine too, but we all kind of knew the shenanigans factor was going to come into play here. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little sick of it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sick of the interference. Like, I'm sick of it with the bloodline. I'm sick of it with Judgment. Like, I'm sick of these factions interfering in every single match. Like, it's old.
And then Kyle, we get to the main event. We thought there was going to be some kind of interference. We thought there was going to be a surprise.
Nothing.
When they needed something, and nothing. Nada.
Nothing. Nada.
Just left me hanging. Like I felt like I was at Full Gear all over again. Right? I mean, I really did. I felt like I was on repeat. I was expecting something. Oh, there's going to be somebody. And Darby Allin came out of the car. That's the same way I felt. I was like, oh, someone's coming out. That's it. They just ended the show.
Nothing. At least we got Darby at Full Gear.
Yeah.
We got nothing.
Nothing at all. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just knew they had to have somebody come out, right? I mean, are they saving us all this for the Netflix premiere? I hope they got something, because I mean, right now, we
got Easter eggs. We got little Easter eggs, like the whole thing with Paul Heyman and CM Punk as they were all leaving the ring, and CM Punk was like, I'm when I need that favor, I'm gonna cash in. And Paul said, whatever you need, it's yours. Like whatever you need. So what if I heard this theory on a podcast I was listening to the other day? What if CM Punk's favor that he wants is a world championship match? That way he doesn't have to worry about winning the Royal Rumble or anything like that. He just cashes in his favor with Paul Heyman, gets a world championship match with Roman Reigns down the line at WrestleMania. That's how he gets his WrestleMania main event. He goes straight to Paul Heyman. I'm cashing in my favor. Maybe that's the favor he wants. I mean, I think it could be anything, but I think no, we didn't get any of the surprises. We didn't get any people running out like we expected, but I think we still got some Easter eggs planted there that we still got some surprises that are going to happen on this road to WrestleMania because The Rock's got to come back at some point. I mean, are we waiting till February Royal Rumble to bring back The Rock? I don't think so.
I think The Rock comes back on the Netflix premiere.
Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't think about the Netflix premiere. You're probably right, but still, that's over a month away. Like
I know. I'm so pumped about that. Like it's going to be like I think we need to have a some kind of show for the Netflix premiere. I don't know what that would look like if it's a live watch along or something would be cool because I think that's going to be no telling who's going to show up. Like
well, that's what I'm interested in seeing what the format's going to be. Mm-hmm. What are the commercial breaks going to be like? How's it going to look?
Man, I'm just excited for no bleep outs, no cut off, no blanking the screen, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that it's going to be cool that it's not a set time every week. Like it won't be a 3-hour show every week. It may be 2:15 one week, maybe 2:45 one week.
And Netflix can't cut you off, Kyle, so you would miss the end of the show for runovers.
It's true. Man, that's speaking of, I'm sure there's going to be a runover tonight.
as long as Netflix doesn't do what it did for the fight that night, where
I don't think there's going to be 70 million people watching now. If WWE, if that's an issue, WWE would be very happy.
70 million people. If there was that many, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix, because that's what somebody was asking them about that, and asked WWE if they were worried about it, and WWE was like, if we do 60 to 70 million like that fight did, we'll be okay. Like I don't think we're going to be doing those type of numbers to put that much strain on the system.
So I thought a few things that were interested in the main event. You had Punk try to come out and Reigns stopped. Did you see? Obviously, you saw that. I saw like 104 million people viewed that clip online. Like that is crazy.
Well, and that's the other thing too that could be leading to a Punk and Reigns match, like stuff like that little tension. And then I'm sure you were about to get to it, but after that, when Roman was getting ready to come out, Punk just kind of shoulder checked him and walked out past him and didn't even acknowledge him. Like they're setting up where I think we're gonna get a Punk and Reigns match at some point. But yeah, I loved that little just little pettiness that Roman did throughout the match. And the little glances over at him, like side eye looks throughout the match. Like Roman played it perfectly.
Yeah, it was really good. I thought having Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu in this match just brutal as usual. When I knew that they added Bronson Reed, first thing I thought of is tsunami from the top rope. That's what I was.
How about the cage? Not just the top rope.
Oh, yeah, the cage. That's what I meant. The cage. Yes. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that.
Well, you got it.
I mean,
he tsunami'd a table, which again, there goes Punk saving Roman, which is gonna play into that storyline. This is the difference between the women's match and the men's match. The men's match had story. We're talking about little things that happen in the match that's storyline. There's nothing that happened in that women's match that's storyline related at all.
That Jacob Fatu though, man, he is special. They have got something with that guy. Like he's got this story, obviously, but he's gonna have so many people to book against because he hasn't really. I mean, they've done a really good job. He hasn't really fought anybody one-on-one. He's been in some tag matches. He's beat some people up. But, man, that guy in the ring, he's like I don't want to compare him to Will Ospreay because he's not Will Ospreay. But he may be WWE's closest person in the ring that, like, is a must-see in the ring when he's in there. Like, there's not too many more that I would I want to see in WWE more than Ospreay. And Fatu's up there with him.
Well, but Will Ospreay has the build of somebody. Like you look at Will Ospreay,
Right.
you're like, okay, he could probably do all the flips and stuff. Fatu's not built that way. Fatu's built like a heavyweight that does flyer tricks, and it is amazing to watch. Like him, the fluidity of him, like that's 50-cent word. They charge you for it. The fluidity of him just being able to hop up on the ropes and then straight into a moonsault, like it's so effortless for him, and he's such a big guy. Like it is amazing to watch. But you're right, like he's got put down your phone capability when you're watching. When there's a Jacob Fatu match on, you put your phone down because you don't know what that crazy werewolf's gonna do. You just don't.
He's just got so many options as far as who he can face. And at some point, I mean, he's probably going to get sick of Solo. So that'll probably be the first thing we see.
You think? I don't know. He loves Solo.
Solo.
I love you, Solo.
But Solo used to love Roman too. So
yeah, but not like that. Don't nobody love anybody the way that Jacob Fatu loves Solo Sikoa.
Well, at some point he'll get tired of being treated a certain way, and but man, because here's the deal: he wants to be the champ. I mean, how long is he just going to sit second fiddle to Solo? I mean, that's they would be doing a disservice to everyone as wrestling fans to do it for too long. I mean, I understand the story right now, but we want to see Fatu in these title matches and these big matches. I mean, you know,
I think we will. Just in due time. There's no need to rush him. We got Fatu. There's no need to rush it. Just let this stuff play out. No need to rush anything. We got plenty of time.
So where do you think we're going with this then, Kyle? Do you have any?
No earthly idea. I mean, what do you think? You have an idea?
They won the match. You know, they beat the big bad evil bloodline. I mean, this is kind of why I thought the new bloodline would win, right? Because now that's when I thought, well, somebody has to come back or somebody has to be added in the fold. I still think that happens, but what do you do for the time being? Like, you know, the OTC is team one. Feud over, right? He's the original tribal chief. So I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's the OTC, but he didn't get his Ulafala back, or as my mom calls them, the little red chili peppers. He didn't get the Ulafala back, so he's not the tribe.
So we have a match. The match for the on a pole. Put it up on a pole or up on in a ladder match. Hang that from the top. You got to climb the ladder and get the Ulafala to be the tribal chief. The tribal chief match. The tribal chief match.
But you got to do something. But I don't know where they go from here. I mean, Solo pinned Roman. Roman now has pinned Solo, but it took. I mean, I guess it took Solo had a bunch of help too when he pinned Roman. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know where they go from here. I don't know what's next because I don't. But that's what's kind of exciting about it. I don't know what's coming next. But I can tell you this: I'm intrigued. I'm ready to see what happens. Like, I want to know. I'm ready to tune in Friday night, and when I get back from Forney.
I was going to say, you're going to tune in Friday night. I'd be a
when
little
I get back from
preoccupied.
Forney. Yeah, when I get back from Forney Friday night, I'm ready to tune in and see how this story progresses. But I don't know. I don't even know. I don't. I mean, you have to have another Roman and Solo match, right, for the Ulafala. Like it's got to be. I don't. I don't know. I don't know what they do, but I'm intrigued.
I am too. It's just I feel like this story and the Death Riders thing in AEW. I feel like I'm ready for something to happen in both of these to just go. I think it's going to be great when it does. I'm ready, and I thought
Yeah,
that was
I don't feel so confident about the Death Riders one, but I'm with you on the Bloodline.
well. I mean, but you still want it. You're still looking for it.
Yeah, because I'm but it's different. Like, well, and maybe not for you, but for me at least, like with the Death Riders thing, I'm looking forward to it because I'm ready for something to happen because I'm sick of seeing the same. I'm sick of where it's at right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sick of what's going on with the Bloodline. I just don't know what's going on. But I'm excited to see what's going forward. That's where like Death Riders is. I'm ready to see what's going on because I'm sick of what's happening right now. So it's a little different for me.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Um, because we haven't added anybody. It's kind of the same people, same, every week they just come out and attack people. At least we have
Well,
gotten some new people in the fold here in the bloodline story recently.
well, and they didn't end the show with an attack by somebody that's already been beaten by the group before. You
But you
know,
said
like
earlier, Kyle, you was like, well, at least we got Darby Allen. That's what you said.
well, but I would rather go nothing than do that. Like, let's just like what we got is fine. Like, did I want to see something at the end? For sure, absolutely. Was I disappointed that nothing happened? Yes, but I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with what we got because, like I said, we got a little Easter eggs that can tide us over, little appetizers, if you will, to tide us over before the main course.
Well, the appetizer, after a while, I keep eating appetizers, Kyle, and I officially want that main course now. I'm ready for it.
Or you just get full off the appetizers and you forget about the main course.
That is true. I mean, that is definitely. I mean, I feel that way. If there wasn't for some other things going on AEW that I was interested by, that you have to tune in every week, then I would be probably a little less patient. But there's been some other
I'm not
stuff.
even I'm not even looking forward to watching tonight's show. Like I'm sitting here. I got basketball on right now, a little Auburn Duke action going on, but I'm like I I don't even want to watch AEW. Like I don't.
Wow, wow. But
I'm
you're gonna watch.
going to.
But you're gonna watch it anyway because you have
Going
to.
to because we talk about it and I need to know what's going on, but I don't. Just I'm down on AEW, man. I'm down on them.
Well, I got through that today. Tomorrow is actually a day off as far as don't have anything going on tomorrow. Um, but I'm going to be tuned in, Kyle, because the debut of the professor in the booth tomorrow night is going to be
It's
interesting.
gonna be awesome.
Professor Diggs, he makes an occasional appearance on our show here. If you
I'm
didn't,
surprised he didn't pop in tonight.
yeah, well, I'm not sure he has trouble keeping up during football season with everything that's going on.
That's
So
true.
we'll get some of these guys back once football's over, I imagine. It's a busy time for us sports people. You know, it's it's a lot, but who's going to be here. Your stalwarts, your starters, your main event guys here. Me and Kyle are here every time, good or bad. This was just an okay card. I think it was fun. The War Games one is usually one of my favorite ones. Is looking forward to it wise, and it got like a B. Like it was just average to me.
Well,
It wasn't.
I think the women's War Games match was unnecessary. And the men's War Games match, like I said, maybe it's just us that did that, but we were expecting something, and when we got nothing, we held that against them like it was their fault that they didn't give us anything. When in all reality, maybe we just had too high of expectations and expected a little too much. So I like I said, I thought it was an overall I thought it was a good show. Like I enjoyed it, you know. Even the women's match, it was very clunky at the start, especially with just Nia and Bailey in there. But I mean, once the actual war games started and everybody was in the ring, it picked up and it was a pretty decent little match. So I mean, I wasn't disappointed with the pay per view at all. 5 matches, got in there, got out of there. It didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel, like I felt like everything flowed nicely. I thought it was a good show. It didn't blow my socks off or anything, but it wasn't a bad show by any means.
Yeah. Just looking ahead here, looks like NXT Deadline is this weekend. And that's one that I was keeping up for a while, and I've gotten behind. I need to catch up. I also saw Eric Bischoff was on the other night on NXT, made an appearance. So I saw that the Rock's daughter, the general manager Ava, was attacked by somebody. There's some good stories going on. I need to catch up on it because I want to try to watch this weekend because I honestly, it's the main reason why I don't stay caught up on it as much is because we don't talk about it all the time on here. But I really like NXT and what they're doing. There's a lot of talent that are on NXT that like I mentioned earlier, I'm excited for them to move up to the main roster. Especially you've got these new women's titles. We haven't really talked about them, but we've got 2 new women's titles on the main roster. I think that's in preparation of some of these women moving up because that women's roster on NXT is stacked. And I'm excited about getting some of those up, maybe being able to compete for those new, the Women's United States Championship and the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Are you excited? Too many belts? What's your thoughts on the added belts? We really hadn't talked about it, Kyle. It's not the tag titles. I know we know the tag titles. You're going to say you don't like those.
If you're going to add titles, then get rid of the damn tag titles. Like, you don't need those tag titles. Like, if you're going to add 2 more women's championships for an already on the main roster, I understand NXT has got a plethora of women, but on the main roster, each show isn't that deep. Like, we just have, if you look at some of these triple threat matches, I don't have them pulled up. But some of the triple threat matches we're going to be getting with like Blair Davenport and people like that in it, like we know they're not winning. Like Katana Chance was by herself in a match. This is they mentioned it, like her first singles match in like years. Like we know she's not winning. Like you just have her in there for what? Like I don't think if you're going to do that, then get rid of the tag titles. Like, if you don't need the tag titles, if you're going to have an Intercontinental and a U.S. Women's Championship.
Do they still float those to NXT as well, right?
The tag titles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe they need to get on. Maybe they need to get on an NXT, 2 NXT talents, and then they kind of come up and display what they have on the main roster. It's got the deeper roster, and they don't necessarily belong to NXT, but maybe some NXT talents hold them and they can float around, and then you let these other women fight for these new titles.
It almost seems kind of lazy though, if you think about it, because like you can make if you involve a title in any kind of feud, you immediately have a story because the story is about the title.
It's lazy booking. I know exactly where you're going.
It's lazy booking.
You don't have to book any kind of good story. Hey, I want the title. Let's fight.
Exactly. Like that's lazy booking. So the more titles you have, the easier it is to book because you just book title matches all the time. But you run into a situation where people are getting title matches for no reason, and people that are off TV for 6 or 7 months come back and win a championship for no reason.
AKA Shinsuke Nakamura.
Just saying.
Hey, so I think the best feuds though are the ones that don't involve titles, because you really have to sit like the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud. Classic example. That was excellent storytelling. I think we may have something similar brewing here with Seth and CM Punk, Seth Rollins. just those kind of stories. If you don't need a title to tell it, then to me, you're doing something right. I care about it, and it's not a title line. We talk about all the time these matches that don't matter, right? We don't care. Like, why are we having this match? Does it matter? Well, if there's a feud involved and there's some story with it, then maybe I do care, even though it's not a title match. So I think I totally agree with you on that. Like, I honestly think that's what's happened in AEW. They've got too title happy. They got 18,000 titles. It makes Tony Khan, which started off booking so hot and was doing all kinds of stories that I really enjoyed. Now they've got ROH titles. They've got 15 million AEW titles. They bring over these New Japan titles. Like, you've got titles out the year. Every match is for a title. They don't have to booking stories. They just, oh, well, I want the title. Let's fight. I think that's what's wrong with somewhat of what's wrong with AEW at some points.
Yeah, I agree. It's just lazy booking. It's easier to just make a feud about a title than try and book an actual story that involves no title. But you're right. Like, I think that the feuds that don't have a title involved are richer because you have more invested in them because it's not about a title. Like, the title can be a cherry on top, but if you have that feud going without the title, then if you do involve a title into it, that could just send it over the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The next PLE show they're booking it as, when we talked about it, was the Saturday night main event for Raw and SmackDown. See, AEW, they have that at World's End at the end of the month. You've got winners coming next week. It's like their special Wednesday night. I'm sure they'll have some title matches and stuff on it.
You can't have a show without a title match in AEW.
True. Hopefully there'll be some good ones. I haven't seen anything as far as card goes yet, but those cards usually are a little above your regular Dynamites. They usually have some pretty good matches.
And we're in the middle of the Continental Classic now, so we'll have some banger matches for sure. Just
That's
because
right.
of the Continental Classic.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how they're doing it? So basically, I guess you lose the title belt. Basically, I think the way they explained it, I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong here. So Okada is technically still the champion, but he's only is the champion if he makes the finals. Then he's now the I guess the reigning. If he doesn't make the finals, then he's stripped of it. So he could actually not make the finals and he's stripped without even losing it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If he doesn't make it to the finals, then he'll have no chance of retaining it. So yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of
he would be stripped. I mean, yeah. He's the champ.
So here's our chance, Kyle. So he doesn't make the finals, he goes away. When we talked about all of them going away, maybe he doesn't even make the finals and goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Continental Classic because we're going to get some good matches, but I think you could have put some different people in there. The Beast Mortos being in it.
He's there to take some L's.
Okay, but you could have put other people in there. Like, whatever. If Hologram was healthy, he would be in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the tournament format. I like the round robin tournament format of it.
Ooh, I got a storyline. The Death Riders like come in and mess with Okada where he loses out and doesn't make the finals. So then he goes away and
Nope. There's no interference in the Continental Classic.
If the ref sees it, Kyle.
No, there's nobody ringside.
The ref gets knocked down on accident. You know how it works, Kyle. Come on. You know how it works.
We keep the Continental Classic sacred, Bret. We keep the Continental Classic sacred.
You keep thinking that. It's wrestling, Kyle. You know how these refs are. You gotta be deaf, blind, and you trip over your own feet. That's
like a steel cage is meant to keep people in and not keep people out.
Oh man. Well, you never know when that happens. Oh man. But It's been weird tonight. We talked about it a little bit, but Brandon Ogden not with us tonight. He actually has to go work tonight and watch a basketball game. I'm sure he's so hates that he has to go get paid to watch a basketball game tonight.
If the basketball game's bad, he'll wish he was somewhere else. But
Well,
he took a picture from the gym to make sure that he knew we knew he wasn't lying to us.
yeah,
There's picture evidence that he's in a gym tonight.
yeah. Well, I was hoping we might be able to grab him for a minute, but I think he's still preoccupied. He was hoping to hop on for a few minutes, but I don't know what else there is to talk about. Is there anything else wrestling wise that you've got? I mean, I think we kind of went through the pay per view we agreed, but we didn't on some things. I mean, I think we kind of overall the gist of the pay per view was just okay, but I'm excited to see what's going forward. I am excited for the Saturday night's main event. They've been really pumping that up live on NBC, so it's going to be a PLE type card, but live on network TV. I'm interested to see what the ratings are going to be for this. Now, the 14th of December, let's see, college football it's in between the championship games and the playoff, right? I think that's an in-between week. So good date choice there. You wouldn't want to go up against the college football game. Speaking of that, we hadn't really talked about that either. What did you think about the weekend of games of football, college-wise?
They were wild games. There's some upsets there, some good matchups. I mean, the field's pretty much set. I don't think we're going to get too much craziness in the conference championships. I think the field's pretty much set.
Do we feel like, okay, and this may just be me. We've got Oregon and Penn State playing. They're 1-3. We've got Texas and Georgia playing again. That's 2-4. Do the conference championships, or is that too much? Like, I feel like that. I know they're going for the bye and all that, but you could have Texas and Georgia playing 3 times this year. Theoretically, you could have some of these teams are going to play they're having to play an extra game, but you've got some teams that get to sit at home. I guess they're trying to play for a bye, so it doesn't matter. Does it really an advantage to play in the conference championship and then have the chance for a bye, even though you get the extra game? I don't know. It's just going to be interesting because this is the first year it's been 12, but I'm still trying to figure out, okay, is it better if we don't play that extra game, don't get hurt, and then we just take our seed, we host a home game, and then we take our chance on winning the next game? I don't know. I think that's interesting to me, like strategy wise. Will it be a strategic thing later?
I think it benefits you to not play in the conference championship. If you're Ohio State or Alabama right now, you're already locked into the playoff and you don't have to play in the conference championship. You don't risk getting anybody hurt. You don't risk taking another loss. Like you're sitting pretty. You're already in. So yeah, I think but you also got to be rewarded for playing in the conference championship. So if you make it and lose, you shouldn't be punished more than somebody's rewarded for not playing in it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's got to be some type of balance there.
That's because that's the worst possible scenario, right? You lose the conference championship, then you don't get the bye. Now you've got to play an extra game, and you had to play the other extra game. So that's a lot of. We're getting close to the NFL number of games that you could possibly have to play. Which, don't get me wrong, I love college football, and I think I love the games. Like that's awesome. I'm just trying to think of it as a strategy, and I think you're onto something there. I think there may be some of that where maybe if you get where you want to, you don't want to play in that conference championship game. Like someone like Tennessee, they're benefiting from that. Like, right, if Tennessee's in the conference championship and they go play against Texas or Georgia and they lose, they're probably out of the playoff. I mean, because then you have a team like Alabama, some of these other teams that might go ahead of them because they'd be now it's the same 3 loss as them. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting as we continue to have these playoff discussions as the years go on. But yeah, it's going to be a good weekend for football. And again, we'll look forward to Saturday night main event. I don't know is there any there is a match booked. I can't remember who it is. I think there might be one match. I haven't seen Raw, so there may be some more matches, but I'm hoping for a good card there.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one. Like you said, it's a pay-per-view type or PLE type card on network television. It'll be a good card, and they'll go all out. We'll get some surprises there. We'll get some good stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe we'll get the surprise we were looking for last time.
Maybe that'd be a good place to do it too.
And for numbers wise and for viewership that doesn't have to pay for it, would be a good opportunity to get in front of a lot of eyeballs. So I'm excited to see how that goes. So Kyle, I guess that's going to do it. Any final thoughts before we close out?
No, sir. I got nothing.
Go Cowboys. Oh no, you're not going to say
go
that.
Eagles.
Okay. Oh man, well, that's going to do it for tonight's episode of Off the Ropes. Maybe our tribal chief Brandon will return next episode. We'll see. For KO Kyle Owens, I'm Mr. Dennis and Bret Sweeney signing off for tonight's episode of Off the Ropes. We'll see you here, I guess, next week. We'll talk about Saturday main event. I guess it is. It's the 14th. Maybe. We'll see. We'll be back soon. Have a great evening. Good night, everybody.